Luke Bespin.
Did we already do Luke Bespin? Yeah, we already did Luke Bespin.
Okay, so we could do Leia Bespin. Did we do that?
We did that one too.
Hot Snow Trooper.
We did that one.
White Bespin Guard.
We did that one.
Lando.
We did that one.
FX7.
We did that one.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of 5 Idiots Talking Toys. I'm Shane, and we're here with another episode of the ultimate guide to collecting vintage Star Wars figures. We're going back through the entire Kenner line of figures, and we're going to cover things like the accessories, the condition that you're looking for, the problem areas of each figure to watch out for. Also, the current value, talk about grading those figures, loose grading those, and we'll also talk about, just some other interesting things about the figure. Charles is not here with us tonight. John's going to be covering accessories, and Brandon's going to walk us through the condition, and we'll head over to Chris towards the end of each figure and go over the current value and the grading, like I said. If you haven't seen any of these episodes yet, hopefully these will be helpful to you. If you're a new collector, for sure. You can learn a lot from these episodes. If you're a novice collector, you might pick up a few things. And even for the hardened novice, the hardened expert collector, you might find out something that you didn't know about the figure. So let's strap in and go through each of these 4 figures. Tonight we are going to cover Dengar, Leia Hoth, Han Bespin, and an Ugnaught. So we're in Empire Strikes Back. And we're going to bring in Lord Walden right now. Howdy.
Hello, sir. Thank you for having me on, sir.
You're welcome. Chris W. is here.
Hey, sir. How are you? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And Commander Alamo.
Sir. Sir.
So, guys, we have this series, the Ultimate Guide to Vintage Star Wars, as a playlist on our YouTube channel. So, for anybody who hasn't seen them yet, very easy to go to our page, our channel there, and you could see them all at once and go through the order of figures from 1
Sir,
to...
correct, sir.
I think we're going to be finishing with 36 tonight. Is that right, John?
3, 4, 5, 6, yeah.
Nice. All right. So for anyone who's finding this video,
yeah, sure. Is it yes, sure,
yes,
John?
Yes, sir.
Well,
sorry.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
So for anyone who hasn't seen our channel yet, you might be coming across this video. Thanks for joining us. This is a collector's podcast for vintage and modern toys and pop culture and movies and trailers and everything around sci-fi and action and adventure that we like. We have Wins and Whiffs episodes. Every Wednesday, you can see the new items that come into our collections and then where we strike out in the collector hobby. And then every Sunday night, just like this one has been released, we have a topic-driven podcast episode in between these episodes of the guide. So check that out as well. Guys, let's jump into it with everyone's least favorite bounty hunter, I think. Dengar.
Rollo would have a heart attack here when you say that.
Well, I have to say, I do remember really liking this figure as a kid, and I remember playing with this figure, amongst the best of them. So I'm not a hater of Dengar, but it's not, the most popular figure. It's not an expensive figure, but it's a bounty hunter that was in that short scene of Empire Strikes Back where there's a lineup of bounty hunters that are hired by the Empire, by Vader, to go out and find. Who are they finding? Luke? Are they finding Han? Who are they looking for? Come on, Chris.
They were on the Sandcrawler.
They were on the Sandcrawler?
Yes. With the Death Star droid, don't you remember? That's what Charles says about every figure.
They're all from the Sandcrawler?
Every figure. Charles goes, he was on a Sandcrawler, right?
Every figure in Star Wars is from the first 20 minutes of the whole series.
He almost had it right. Actually, this character was on Jabba's skiff, but they cut the scene out.
Yes, I do know that.
And
yeah.
he's originally the one that helped Boba get out of the Sarlacc pit.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Huh.
Yeah, well, they screwed it up with the Boba Fett show, but he's
yeah, it was in the Book of Boba. I remember seeing Dengar.
Well, Dengar is definitely in Jabba's throne room. You can see him in the background. It's not easy to see him, but if you're looking for him, he's standing in the background somewhere in there, I believe.
I never even knew that.
Yeah. There's actually a lot of characters in there. Some of them did not make the movie, but if you actually take a good look and kind of pause and rewind, there's more characters than you even think are in there.
I like this character. I mean, the figure's whatever, but
yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about the costume that the character is wearing. People make fun of like the bandages around his head, and he's kind of an ugly looking guy in the movie. But Dengar is a bounty hunter, again hired by the Empire. John, I'm going to throw it over to you for this wonderful accessory he has.
Well, we have seen this accessory before. This is the Hoth Stormtrooper rifle.
Yeah.
Right. Nothing new, nothing exciting.
What color is it?
What color is it, John?
Blue.
Blue. Okay.
sure it's not gray.
Blue.
Now, for the folks that are watching, there's a lot of accessories that came in different shades of blue, darker, medium, little hint of gray in there. So do your research as a novice collector. If you're not familiar with all these accessories, we're just giving you the general basics, the main details about the accessory. But a lot of these accessories do come in slightly different shades. And there's some collectors that do care about that for one reason or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon, let me throw it over to you. Tell us, walk us around this figure. Tell us what you're always watching out for when you're looking for a nice condition Dengar.
From top to bottom, Dengar, I mean, he suffers from a little bit of degradation here and there. You'll notice that the purple or the maroon or whatever color you want to call it tends to turn green. The backpack and his limbs also tend to turn different colors. Like you'll see like a yellow or backpack. I don't know if you can get a picture of his backside there, but
Brandon, you know damn well that this podcast is not capable of that.
Okay, well, his backpack turns yellow compared to the rest of his body. He is very prone to rubs on his on the painted parts there, which is everything that's colored and not white. This is one of the harder figures to find. I mean, they're all hard to find without paint rubs and stuff, but this is one of the ones that I've always, his chest is always rubbed for some reason. There's always some kind of stuff on there. See, yours is, I can tell, a little degraded there. Some of the paint is,
yeah, it's almost like a mauve color, like a brownish purple, You could see the backpack is slightly different color.
Yeah, so it suffers from degradation over time, obviously, but all the painted areas there, it's really tough to find one. So you got to look out, especially on the chest. That part's always hard there to find something that's fully painted. So that's the biggest issue with them, is just the paint and the degradation.
And I'm just remembering on the face, Chris, you probably could answer the best. There's more of a peach face and more of a yellow face, right?
I was going to say there's actually two different color faces. There's like a yellow face and there is like a peachish kind of face. People will think it's degradation of the face. It's not. There are two different colors, but like Brandon said, I mean, for a cheap figure, a lot of them do degrade, and he is kind of hard to find without rubs on him. So.
Yeah, because there's a lot of high points on that figure, especially the chest plate, the shoulders, and I do remember playing with this figure a lot. It was really cool to have the bounty hunters, all of them. So you're throwing this guy around. So
I mean, he's also prone to factory paint not being the best on him. So I found ones that were not even played with. You look in the blister and they're like still missing paint.
I've also seen ones where the limbs. Maybe the paint looked the same when it was first created, but they were maybe from a different run of the paint color, and over the time they've degraded, and they're different color, purple, brownish on each limb. They don't even match anymore.
Yeah, don't get fooled by the variants, the fake variants. People will say that if you find a green limb one, where his
stupid.
Right.
So be mindful of that. If you find one that people, this is a variant, it's got green or it's heavily degraded, so it starts turning blue or green. I've seen somebody charge like $80 for one of these because it was like greenish.
It was left in a horse barn for 130 years.
I want to say it was like 300. I remember
300.
Yeah,
more than 80.
Because it was like he had like a green back or green arms, and I was like, he's $5 all day long if you want to pay for that because he's cool looking. That's it.
All right, Chris, we're going to throw it over to you for the current value. You were kind of hinting at that, and we always talk about grading.
He's one of the cheaper figures to get. The accessory is $5 all day long, all day, night, every day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Never goes up, never goes down. The figure, can average $5 to $10 depending on how good a shape he is. I sell these complete on the page for $10. If they're not in good shape, I sell them for $15 if they're, if they are in good shape. Right. He 100% is not worth grading. He is one of the many, many figures that have been booted from the grading community. You don't want to grade him. Don't waste your money. He will not come back and make you anything in the long run.
Chris, are you a proponent of putting a figure, just in an acrylic case? If you want to have that nice acrylic look in your collection, maybe you do have a bunch of graded figures, put them in a case and just add them to the look that your collection has, buy $5 or $10 case.
I mean, now I am, honestly, because I'm not spending $80 on a loose figure, especially not a Dengar. So then when you turn around and sell him, even if he gets an 85, you're still looking at under $100. You actually lost money.
Right. So. Right. And last thing I'll say about this figure that's on the screen, this is a rather decent example of this figure. The purple brown looks very nice on this figure. If you find an example like this and you need a Dengar for your collection, scoop this one up because most of them are rubbed. So this is a nice one. All right, on to the next figure. It is Princess Leia in her Hoth outfit. So this is from the scene on Planet Hoth that opens up Empire Strikes Back. She's in command in the Echo base. And this is the first time we're seeing an alternate outfit for her. I believe this was out before the Bespin Leia, if not at the same time. But this is one of the first times we're seeing an alternate hairstyle and an outfit, and I think everybody liked that. There's not really much else to say. I mean, she has a different face mold. That as an adult, I catch on to those things where some of these different outfits for the same figure, they look a little different. That's the way toys go back then. John, I'm going to throw it over to you for the accessory on Hoth Leia.
Well, this is the typical Leia blaster, but this one's not, sometimes you can find this in the blue-black. I think it came in baggies. Mostly, Chris will correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I think the baggies mostly, then they show up some blue-blacks.
I have never heard it before in my life. I know Charles has said that before, but I have never.
You bought one from me that was a blue-black. Yeah.
I've seen this come in blue-black, and I've seen these come in blue.
Yeah, but mainly blue. The blue Leia blaster is associated with this one because she had this one when she was in the Bespin outfit in the 31 bags.
Correct. Her first.
So that was out first. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the blue Leia blaster.
Yeah. Pew 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 pew.
Well, it's funny because I don't follow, along exactly which one came out first like you guys do, but it's funny because this is what you saw first in the movie, and they came out with the other outfit with the cape first.
Yeah, it is funny, but not nearly as funny as you were kind of like the host of the show when we did the Leia Bespin.
Right. Well, I don't even care that we're doing I don't even care to do them in the same order as long as we go through. But yes,
moving on.
The other thing about this figure is different color hair, so that's a variant to keep in mind. Brandon, over to you for the condition of this figure.
Speaking of hair, her hair is one of the number one trouble spots that gets rubs on it, so double check that. She does have a bun on the back of her head that usually gets rubs. Shane, can you turn this figure around. No, okay. So her hair is a trouble spot, so check for that. Make sure the paint applications are real nice. The rest of the figure, actually, these figures you can probably find a nice one pretty easily. Her back on her backside, she tends to get some rubs.
There we go.
Flip her around. So the brown, where the brown meets the white on her butt there, sometimes that brown gets rubbed because that is painted. Actually, no. False.
Her butt's painted.
Her butt's painted, right? So you'll see rubs on her butt on the white part there. My
boyfriend
so
brings
if you can turn her to your left.
Oh my god!
That black thing on her arm there is one of the things that always gets rubs on it. So you always want to double check that. I don't know what that is, like a pen holder or something.
Yes, they had pen. Yeah, she was carrying pens around.
I think it's a cell phone holder. Yeah,
pocket protector, cell phone holder.
It's her iPhone.
I don't know. She had her pack of smokes there. Anyway, that part's always get rubbed along with the hair, and then the boots are painted as well. So double check for that.
Yeah, there you go.
When it comes to the price for the figure, her blaster sells usually for about $50. And then again, the way I price her out is I take the condition of the figure and I kind of price the figure and then I add it on top of the 50, and then that's where I come up with my price. So she could technically be $5 if it's not good, and you can even charge $20 if it's an absolutely mint one. The red-haired one does go for more money than the brown-haired one. I personally would not grade either one of them. You can sell an 85 grade for 150, but why spend $70 on a figure, $80 to grade? There's no return. So that would just be a figure that you would want to grade for your collection. Absolutely, but not one that you would want to grade and try to sell down the road.
Yeah, and we've talked about on other episodes. We'll save it for outside of this time, but we've talked about the cost of grading going up, and I wonder what they're going to do down the line if orders stop coming in quite as much.
I mean, it's priced out. I would say 3/4 of the figures of Star Wars to be graded.
Yeah, seems so. All right, very good. So that is Leia Hoth, and if you're looking for that figure, now you know what to look for. We're going to move on to Han Bespin is the next figure up. Han Solo in his Bespin outfit. This is somewhere in the middle of the movie of Empire. This is when they arrive to Cloud City, obviously Bespin. And he's got his brown and blue look. Let's just go ahead and throw it over to John for the accessory.
This one has the Bespin blaster.
It's blue.
Thanks,
blue.
John. Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good job, John.
I'll pick it up from there.
Yeah, the Bespin blaster comes with quite a few different figures, so it's a very common accessory, and it's pretty much always in the same bluish color. Brandon, over to you for the condition.
Tougher figure for sure. A lot of problem areas, mainly his hair. So always want to double check that his hair is painted nicely. His shirt is painted white, so that also gets rubbed, and his belt buckle is also painted, and that gets a lot of rubs on it. His crotch is, I think his crotch is actually dark blue because the brown gets rubs on it and the white gets rubs on it. So you have two layers of paint on that dark blue, which is why it's always a troublesome area, especially if you're shoving your figures into vehicles and stuff like that. So there's Shane going to find his Han Bespin somewhere.
Of course.
The backside, gets rubs on it. Like I said, shoving the vehicle somewhere. His legs are usually pretty good because they're molded, but they do degrade. So you'll find like a lighter tan. You can obviously tell when this figure degrades because the legs are a completely different color than the painted crotch area. But other than that, the hands is also another trouble area. For some reason, they put a lot of paint on those hands, probably to cover up the dark blue mold on there. So there's a lot of overspray usually on the hands, and the hands you can see like really thick paint on it. But when when they rub though, and it's obvious to tell. So it's a pretty nice one there.
Yeah. It's actually very clean.
Shocking. Oh, I see a little rub on there. On the belt buckle. But yeah, nice hair. No LeBron hair there. Nice hands and nice shirt. So overall, it's a nice figure. Nice, Shane. I'm impressed.
He is a figure that the Bespin Blaster costs $8. I've charged $15 for a complete one, and I've honestly charged $50 for a complete one because, in my opinion, he is one of the more tougher figures to get. I would say top 10 condition wise because of the rubs that he always gets and the degradation that you'll see on him and his shirt, and just he's always like a troublesome figure to find mint.
Yeah.
I wouldn't grade him personally. It's just not worth it anymore. So he is one that, unless you want for your personal collection, unless he comes back and grades 105, which is impossible, then I would not get him graded.
Yeah, and we haven't said it yet in this episode, but I've said it in other episodes. There's certain figures, if you know, that they do suffer sometimes from overspray, factory overspray from when they were originally painted. And you can see in this photo the cuffs of his jacket. They're not too bad, but there are some. I've seen some versions of this figure where the skin tone is up the sleeve a little bit, not so attractive. The same thing with his collar, right on his the painted white right on his neck. It's over, it's on the neck, or vice versa. So, it's hard to find everything perfect, but those are the things, if you're really particular, that you'll be looking for. And of course, the stripes, you want them to be nice and straight and things.
I'd rather take more paint than less paint.
Yes. Yeah, better than underspray. Well, unless it's really messy. I've seen some bad.
I know, but I'd rather take the extra paint instead of rubs.
Yeah, and also for all the experienced collectors out there, of course we know that there's different COOs, there's different country of origin stamps on these figures. You could really go down the rabbit hole with describing some different things about this figure if you're looking for all sorts of variants and whatnot. But we're going to cover the basics here for each figure. And now we're going to go over to our final figure for this episode, and that is, who has a guess? Anybody have a guess? No, I think I already said it, didn't I?
Well done.
It's the Ugnaught.
You got it.
There he is.
Uggy.
So this is a little pig man. He was seen on Bespin Cloud City. He's one of the mechanics or the tech guys fixing everything. There's a whole little squad of them, and he's got his lunchbox, that I like to call it, and his apron. John, tell us about the lunchbox and the apron for this little gray pig man.
Well, the lunchbox is actually a tool accessory kit.
Oh.
Yes, it's actually a tool accessory kit.
Correct.
And here it is, right here.
Let me get
and then the apron. I think everybody loved the Jawa so much that up until this point, the only other figure that had a soft goods, right? I think so. Am I right? The only other soft goods that figure that had the soft goods accessory was the Jawa. And now the Ugnaught had the soft goods apron.
Negative.
Uggy.
Who else was it?
Yoda.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Later, John.
But, he did come he didn't come. This is kind of like a weird thing too. Is the chicken or the egg kind of thing? Is this degradation or is it an actual purple smock? That's been like
it's been proven.
Has it been proven?
Yeah, it's purple, and when it degrades, it turns blue.
Degradation.
Are you sure it's not the other way around?
When it's blue, when it degrades, it turns purple.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because it that one. So the one John has on his right hand is faded.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it can fade or it can degrade.
I've seen.
You can see blue ones that are half
purple.
Completely blue, and the bottom part is turning purple.
I know, they're so cool. I actually like that.
Yeah, and they're different textured capes too, different textured aprons too.
They are, yeah.
So, Anyway, he comes with, as Shane said, a schmuck or an apron and the toolkit.
Tell us about condition, Brandon. What to look for on this big mutt?
The most this figure is almost completely molded that gray color. Top to bottom, his hair usually gets some wear to it because it's painted on the pale face. So double check the hair. This figure also likes to degrade. His back will be, I don't know about his front because of the apron there, but I'm assuming the front turns the same color. Like it degrades from the rest of the limbs, so it's also prone to that. The hands usually get rubs because those are painted too, but those are the same kind of splotchy paint used from Han Bespin, so prone to rubs.
Just too
I definitely would not put anything in his hands because you'll definitely take the paint off, kind of like the Han Bespin. You already mentioned the degradation with the aprons. Finding a nice apron is a little tough with nice full color. Usually they're a little ratty because people, kids have been playing with them, and God knows what. So they're usually a little dirty and ratty. This, by far...
Do you mean like this, Brandon? Don't put them in the hands?
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't do that. But that figure's beat anyway, so...
I grabbed what I have because I like the aprons. So
the different color aprons, and
you can see a little bit of purple on that one.
I have one really nice blue one and one really nice purple one.
Yeah, and this is which one of these? One of these I have blue light on in here right now, so it's hard to tell. But one of these I call blurple. That's half and half.
Blurple ones, yeah.
The blurple is so fun.
Blurple,
but you can, look at the difference. Whoops, I just lost a little stand.
You can still see the blue in the top part of it.
Yeah, and then look at the third one here. I mean, all three of these are different. Blue, purple, and blurple.
Yeah, it's kind of reminds me of Squid Head capes.
Yeah,
Skid Row.
This one's untied.
Squid Head capes with different colors. For some reason, this figure is always, it's like prone to getting dirty knots. Or sticky.
Yeah.
Every time I hold one of these,
Lando's like that too.
And it's always prone to I guess because of the stickiness, it'll get dust on it or hair or every time I buy a collection, this figure is always hairy. It's gross. Gross.
Hairy.
I think of that with original Lando, the blue Lando. Always sticky and hairy.
I have washed so many Ugnaughts, it's not even funny.
Yeah. There's another one that's hairy. I'm trying to remember what it is. It's gross.
Chewbacca?
No.
Yeah, a little bit. He gets a little sticky.
Well, some figures that get sticky and it's disgusting.
It's funny because if you're selling one and you go to take pictures of it, you'll see hairs on the photo that you didn't even know were there, but between their legs, it's just oh, it's so gross. Between their knees and thighs, you see these little hairs and dust and stuff. Ugh. That's what you get with 40-year-old figures.
Oh, Lobot gets sticky too.
Oh yeah.
Well,
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, it's Lobot.
he was sticky from the factory. All right, Tris, let's talk about the value and how quickly you're going to send this off to grade it.
He is about $20, give or take, all in. I mean, if someone was selling an absolute mint one for $25, I would buy it because his toolbox is about $8. The apron is about $8, and then then you value the figure $4 for a crappy one, and if someone said, "Hey, I want $10 and it's mint," I'd buy it if it was for a loose personal collection. Absolutely. You do not grade this. I don't care if they guarantee you he gets 110. You don't grade it. He is one of my toughest sales by far. I can't even sell 80 plus grades or 85 grades for $100 for him. I always have to be below 100 every single time.
Well, it's a dumb figure. It's like
this.
Out of all the characters they could have made, and there's a couple of popular ones that people bring up. You're selling kids a figure of a mechanic. I mean, a guy that a little creature that works in a room with a bunch of parts all over the floor. I mean, how exciting is that? Pig face. Yeah. And then of course, they totally change all that with Mandalorian and they make a cool figure and Queel who, looks totally different, like the more, detailed version of an Ugnaught, but a cool character that people did enjoy during the show. But this is a nobody that was in one scene, and it's a pig face, so, it makes sense. All right, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of the Ultimate Guide to Collecting Vintage Star Wars Figures from the Kenner line from 1979 until 85. And we are going to run through all of them. So please come back to the channel and continue to look for those episodes. We're going to be releasing them regularly. And you can go check out the ones that we've already released if you haven't seen those. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. And if you like what we're doing here, please check out our Patreon, patreon.com/5idiotstalkingtoys. And you can support us there if you like. You're going to get previews for all of our episodes, previews of toy collections that will go for sale on our page, rogue5toys.com. And Brandon will also go grocery shopping for you. He will deliver it to your door. Is that right, or is he Instacart?
Well, I don't know. I found a couple of things for some of the Patreoners.
Bounty hunting, that's what it is. You're going to bounty hunt the toy shows for them. Right.
I've gotten a lot of requests for some... I've learned a lot with some of the stuff that people have been asking for. Like some
Rainbow
of the stuff
Bright.
I didn't even know it existed. Is like blowing my mind.
You got Cabbage Patch glasses. You got Rainbow
I got a request for $6 Million Man stuff, which...
Oh, is that the one with the little eye you can look through? I know about that.
Yeah, apparently I did not know that there was vehicles, that there was multiple figures. No idea.
You're getting Sean excited.
One of our patrons was asking about that, so I got an eye out for that. I know another guy that collects that kind of stuff, so I'm going to ask him. But I was blown away. I was like, wow. So I started looking into it. I'm like, these are cool.
Yeah. I'm not even familiar with the show. I mean, I'm aware of the show, and I remember it being on TV. I physically saw it on TV as I was scrolling through or flipping through. But it was before I was a kid, and they were already reruns. I was a little kid. So I just don't know the show, but I know it's very popular. The bionic parts, body parts. A bionic woman, right, John?
Bionic woman. Yeah,
$1
Jamie
Million
Lee Summers.
Yeah. Correct. All right. Well, everyone who's watching, whether you've seen us before or not, thanks for checking it out. Please subscribe, and we will see you next time on 5 Idiots Talking Toys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
No, thankies.
Bye-bye.
Spider-Man.